Hello, this is Ashton. Let's talk about running spool files. So right here I have a project already set up with a couple spools here. So this right here is the results from one of my spools. And one thing you got to know the difference is between the actual what the spool is, between the difference between the source file and the spool file. So a source file shows your SQL. So this is your source. This is the results. This is what you're going to run to go into your spool. Your actual spool file is like a log file. And you can make it show the syntax. You can make it do a lot of different things to have an indication of if something is wrong with your source, or to just print out a CSV file, or it depends what you're doing. So let's write some source. So right here I have my assignment 1 file, which is located in the C drive Ashto Oracle spools files. So here I have everything I want to run. Okay. So what I do is, and this is very important. So since I don't have, I use my exact path, so it doesn't matter where I run the spool file at. I mean, where I run my source. This is where I want this file to uh, where I want the PLSQL to save the file, the results of the file. So after we wrote so say we wrote spool, and this is the actual file we wanted to go to, and then our output is here. The results of this output here is what we're going to write to the spools file. So now let's log into our SQL plus. Okay. So I'm going to log into my SQL plus. And as you can see, I'm in my SQL plus. Actually, I'll do an exit, and let's do a CLS, and let's log into our SQL plus. So in order to run the SQL source to produce the spool file, okay, what you're going to do is log into your SQL plus, and you're going to do an @ symbol, and you to grab the exact path of that file. So what I'm going to do is, since this is the assignment 1 file, I'm going to drag it over, and I'm going to press enter. And see, it produces everything for me. Okay, this is my output that's expected to be in that spool file. And it's going to print to this uh, this file path right here. Okay, so if we go back and we go and look into where that spool file is, let's go to the location. If I go and pick, double click, say it was this one right here, and see, actually that's the wrong one. Say it was this one right here, and see. So now let me give you proof that it's actually right into that spool file. So let's do this. Let's change the name to uh, Ashton Spool 1. Okay, we'll save it, and then what we do is go back here. We hit the up button. Okay, see right here. We run it again. So now I'm expecting another file to be there. So right here, if we go and look in here, see, you have the Ashton 1 spool file. Okay, I use exact paths because if you don't use exact paths in this right here, whatever directory you run your SQL plus in is the directory that it's going to put the spool file in. So for instance, if say I just put the spool file here, right here, and say that let's go on exit this right here, see what directory I'm in. I'm going to move backwards to Ashto. Okay, and I'm going to log into my SQL plus, and then I'm going to do the @ sign, and then what I'm going to do is, let's go here and change the name to 44, the spool 44, so we can recognize the difference. Okay, so the thing is, wherever I run my, if I don't have a direct path for this spool, whatever directory I'm running my SQL plus in, which in this case is the Ashto, that's where it's going to produce my spool file. So if I go over, and this is why I like to use exact paths, okay? So if I go over to here, and let's take my this assignment right here, and let's run it, okay? So now if I go into the spool files here, where I expect to have my spool files, 44 is not here. But if I go here, if you notice that 44 is right here. So that's why I do use direct paths when I try to establish my spool files. But if you're trying to do cross-platform, then sometimes direct paths is not the option, and you want to just run wherever the SQL plus is. So just in case you run into any issues trying to find your spool file, that's how you determine where to put your spool file and how things work. So this right here is the actual results. Like I said, it's kind of like a log of what you produced from your SQL source file, and it'll tell you if you have any errors or anything like that. Um, so yeah, so it's pretty simple. I set up a good developer experience environment for developer experience. If you notice, I didn't have to jump back and forth in the command line too much, and I can use my IDE or text editor to actually edit the source. So we got two components, the actual source, and then we have the actual log file. Thanks.